You are not bad at sleeping. You may simply be asking your body to fall asleep while your evening is still behaving like daytime. Be honest. You know the routine. The television is on. Your phone is 6 inches from your face. A half-finished drink sits beside the bed. Clothes are waiting on a chair. Tomorrow's problems are running through your mind. Then, without any real transition, you turn off the light and expect your nervous system to become calm on command. That is not a night routine, that is an abrupt shutdown. In many Japanese homes, the evening is often treated less like a collapse at the end of the day and more like a gradual return to order. The rooms become quieter, the body is warmed, small tasks are closed, the sleeping space is prepared before sleep is demanded. The difference looks small, but it is not. Your brain pays attention to sequence. It notices light, temperature, movement, unfinished tasks, noise, and repetition. When the same calming actions happen in the same order, they can become signals that the active part of the day is ending. Tonight, we are going through 7 Japanese-inspired evening habits that may support deeper, more settled sleep. None requires an expensive mattress, a complicated supplement routine, or a complete lifestyle transformation. But stay with me, because the 4th habit is the one many people resist, and the final habit is what turns all the others into a routine your body can actually recognize. And after the 7th point, I will give you a simple 3-stage Japanese night reset you can begin tonight. This is the Japanese reset, where we explore small Japanese ideas that can make everyday life calmer, cleaner, and more intentional. Number 1. Close the day before you enter the bedroom. Most people carry the day directly into bed. They answer one last email under the blanket. They check the bank account. They remember a bill. They glance at tomorrow's calendar. They notice a message that feels slightly rude and begin writing an imaginary response in their head. The body is lying down, but the mind is still standing at a desk. People do this because it feels responsible. You tell yourself that checking one more thing will help you feel prepared. Sometimes it does. More often, it opens another mental door just as you are trying to close the house. Here is what most people never notice. Unfinished tasks do not remain quietly in the background. They create mental tension because the brain keeps trying to remember them. You may have experienced this when you suddenly remember something important after turning off the light. The thought feels urgent, not necessarily because it must be handled immediately, but because your mind does not trust that it has been safely stored anywhere else. A common Japanese approach to household life is to restore basic order at the end of an activity, rather than leaving every task open until later. This does not mean every Japanese household is perfectly organized. It means the system values clear transitions. The kitchen is returned to a usable state, items are put back in their places, work materials are closed. Tomorrow begins with less residue from today. The sleep lesson is simple. Create a closing ritual before you enter the sleeping space. About 30 to 60 minutes before bed, take a small piece of paper and write down 3 things. First, what must happen tomorrow? Second, what is worrying you tonight? Third, the first action you will take in the morning. Keep each answer short. Call the dentist. Worried about the meeting. Open the document at 9. You are not solving your entire life on paper. You are giving your brain evidence that the thought has been captured. Then perform a 5-minute closing round through your main living area. Put 1 cup in the sink. Return the remote. Fold the blanket. Place your keys where they belong. Turn off the brightest lights. Do not start deep cleaning. That will wake you up and turn the ritual into work. The goal is closure, not perfection. This small reset may help reduce the feeling that the day is unfinished. It also protects the bedroom from becoming an office, storage room, dining area, and emotional courtroom. The shift is simple. Do not use your bed to finish the day. Finish the day before you reach the bed. Once the mind has been given closure, the next step is to change the physical state of the body. Number 2, warm the body, then allow it to cool. Many people assume that getting ready for sleep means becoming cold as quickly as possible. They lower the thermostat, step into a chilly room, and expect the body to relax. But the body's temperature pattern is more interesting than that. As you move towards sleep, your internal temperature naturally begins to decrease. Warming the skin before bed can support that process because after you leave the warmth, heat begins to move away from the body. This is one reason bathing plays such an important role in many Japanese evening routines. The Japanese bathing tradition is often described with the word ofuro. And ovuro is not merely a place to scrub dirt away. In many homes, washing happens before entering the bath, and the warm soak is used for relaxation. The distinction matters. The bath is not treated only as hygiene, it creates a boundary between the public day and the private evening. Think about what that does to your mind. You enter carrying the noise of traffic, work, errands, conversations, and obligations. You leave physically warmer, slower, and separated from what happened outside. You do not need a Japanese-style bathroom to use the principle. Take a warm bath or shower roughly 1 to 2 hours before you intend to sleep. It does not need to be extremely hot. In fact, water that leaves you dizzy, uncomfortable, or intensely flushed is too hot. Keep the experience simple. Wash normally. Then allow yourself a few unhurried minutes in the warmth. If standing in the shower is difficult, or if you are older and concerned about balance, use a shower chair if one is already available. Install proper support where needed, and prioritize safety over atmosphere. Never make the bathroom so steamy or dark that you cannot move securely. After bathing, put on clean, loose sleepwear. Avoid immediately returning to intense chores, loud entertainment, or stressful messages. Let the body gradually cool while the evening becomes quieter. For some people, a warm foot soak can provide a smaller version of the same transition. 10 minutes with comfortably warm water may help create a feeling of physical release without filling a bathtub. The principle behind this practice is not that warm water magically forces sleep. It is that temperature change, repetition, and relaxation can work together as a reliable pre-sleep signal. And there is an emotional layer too. A rushed shower says, I am cleaning myself so I can get to the next task. A deliberate evening bath says, the demanding part of the day is over. The shift is not from dirty to clean. It is from public tension to private recovery. But bathing alone will not help much if, immediately afterward, you flood your eyes and brain with the brightest part of the day. Number 3. Lower the evening light before you lower your head. Walk through many modern homes at night, and the lighting makes no sense. It is 10:30 in the evening, but every ceiling fixture is blazing. The kitchen looks like a supermarket. The bathroom mirror is surrounded by white light. A large television flashes across the room, while a phone glows directly into the eyes. Then the person says, I am tired, but I do not feel sleepy. Tired and sleepy are not the same state. Tired means you have used energy. Sleepy means your body is receiving signals that it is time to sleep. Light is one of the strongest of those signals. Bright light in the evening can interfere with the body's natural timing system. Blue-enriched light from screens is often discussed, but the problem is not only the color of the light. Brightness, distance, timing, and what you are doing on the screen also matter. A calm documentary viewed briefly from across a dim room is not the same experience as holding a bright phone close to your face while reading upsetting news. Japanese culture often places importance on softer transitions between activities and spaces. Traditional Japanese interiors use natural materials, filtered light, and lower visual intensity than many modern rooms. Contemporary Japanese homes vary widely, of course, but the useful principle remains. Evening light does not need to imitate noon. About an hour before bed, begin reducing brightness in stages. Turn off the strongest overhead lights first. Use 1 or 2 lower lamps if you have them. In the bathroom, use enough light to move safely, but avoid staring into a harsh mirror longer than necessary. Lower your phone brightness and enable the warmer display setting. Better still, place the phone farther away. Do not make the room dangerously dark. This is especially important for older viewers or anyone at risk of falling. The goal is low, warm, sufficient light, not darkness that makes you trip over furniture. You can also use light to organize behavior. Bright light belongs to active tasks, cooking, cleaning, paperwork. Lower light belongs to slower tasks, stretching, preparing clothes, reading, breathing, talking quietly. When the lighting changes, the type of activity should change with it. Try this tonight. Choose a specific time, perhaps 9:30 or 10, and call it your low light line. After that time, no full ceiling lighting unless you genuinely need it. This does not guarantee that you will fall asleep quickly, but it may reduce one of the mixed messages many people send their bodies every night. Your clock says bedtime. Your light says midday. The Japanese-inspired alternative is to make the room agree with the clock. Now we reach the habit many people resist because it involves the object they use for comfort, distraction, information, and escape. Number 4, give the phone a sleeping place that is not your bed. One of the most common modern night routines is not a routine at all. It is disappearance into the phone. You tell yourself you will check one message. Then you watch a video. That video leads to another. You read a comment. You search for something unrelated. You see a headline that makes you angry. You look at the time and feel guilty. Then, because you are already awake, you keep scrolling. The phone is effective because it removes the need to decide what to do next. Something new always appears. That feels relaxing because it postpones thought. But postponing thought is not the same as settling the mind. The overlooked mechanism is stimulation without completion. Every swipe introduces a new face, question, joke, threat, product, argument, or desire. Your body may be still, but your attention is repeatedly activated. The bedroom then becomes associated with alertness, novelty, and emotional reaction. In many Japanese homes, space is shaped by function and boundaries. The genkan, for example, is the entryway area where outdoor shoes are removed before entering the inner home. The genkan creates a physical and psychological boundary between outside and inside. You can apply the same principle to your phone. Create a digital genkan. Choose one place where the phone stops before you enter sleep. It might be a dresser across the room, a shelf outside the bedroom, or a charging point in the hallway. The exact location matters less than the boundary. Your bed should not be the final charging station for the entire world. Set an alarm before you place the phone away. Tell important family members how they can reach you in an emergency. Use emergency contact settings if your phone provides them. Then leave it in its designated place. If you use the phone for sleep audio, start the audio before getting into bed and place the device beyond easy reach with the screen facing down. If you live alone and need the phone nearby for safety, keep it within hearing distance, but not in your hand or under your pillow. Safety comes first. The goal is to remove casual access, not cut you off from help. At first, you may feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is useful information. It shows you how often the phone has been used to prevent stillness. Slow down here. You do not need to judge yourself. Modern apps are designed to hold attention, but you still need a boundary strong enough to protect the last part of your day. Try a simple rule. No new information after the phone reaches its sleeping place. No news, no shopping, no comments, no work messages, no searching for symptoms at midnight. If a thought appears, write it on the paper from the first habit. Do not reopen the world to solve it. The result you are looking for is not perfect digital discipline. It is a reduction in mental novelty before sleep. The difference is sharp. The phone keeps asking what is next. Sleep begins when the mind is allowed to feel that nothing else is required. We have handled the unfinished day, the body, the light, and the phone. But there is another source of nighttime tension that is quieter because it does not move or make a sound. It simply waits in the room. Number 5. Remove tomorrow's decisions from the bedroom tonight. Many bedrooms are filled with delayed decisions. Clothes are piled on a chair because you have not decided whether they are clean. A package sits on the floor because you have not decided where its contents belong. 5 outfits are hanging from the closet because you do not know what to wear tomorrow. None of these objects is dramatic, but together they communicate something. Not finished, not decided. Handle me later. Visual clutter does not affect everyone in the same way, and a perfectly empty room is not required for good sleep. But for many people, visible disorder can contribute to mental activation because the room keeps presenting unresolved choices. Look around your room right now. What is asking you for a decision? Not what is merely present. What is asking? The difference matters. A lamp is present. A pile of mail is asking. A folded blanket is present. A suitcase you have not unpacked is asking. A common Japanese approach is to reduce friction by preparing simple necessities in advance. School items, work bags, clothing, and household tools are often given consistent places so that the next transition requires less thought. The useful lesson is not that Japan is perfect, but that this system solves a familiar problem differently. Instead of waking up and immediately facing decisions, you reduce some of them the night before. Begin with clothes. Choose tomorrow's basic outfit before you start your low-light period. Include socks, undergarments, and any item you usually search for in the morning. Place the outfit in one clean, designated spot. Do not spread 5 options across the room that transfers tomorrow's decision into tonight's visual field. Next, create one temporary basket for items that belong outside the bedroom. A cup, unopened mail, children's toys, work documents, or anything that entered during the day can go into the basket. Before bed, carry the basket out. You do not need to organize every object. You only need to remove it from the sleep environment. Then clear one horizontal surface, not the whole room. One surface. It may be the nightstand, the top of a dresser, or the chair that has become a second closet. This is where the Japanese concept of ma becomes useful. Ma refers to meaningful space or pause. It is not emptiness for the sake of emptiness. It is room that allows what remains to be experienced more clearly. A clear nightstand creates ma around sleep. You see the lamp, the water, the book, and nothing else demanding interpretation. You do not need to own fewer than a certain number of objects. You need fewer objects competing for attention during the period when attention should be withdrawing. For older viewers, simplify the system further. Keep necessary medication, glasses, water, and mobility aids within safe reach. Do not remove items you genuinely need at night. Clear away only what creates confusion or obstruction. The goal is not a minimalist photograph. It is a room that helps you move safely and rest without feeling surrounded by unfinished business. The shift is simple. Do not ask your morning self to make decisions your evening self could gently remove. And once the room is quieter, you can use one of the most underestimated parts of the Japanese night rhythm, the small pause after activity. Number 6. Create 10 minutes of deliberate stillness. Many people try to relax by adding something. Another show, another snack, another glass of wine, another podcast, another round of scrolling. The modern definition of rest often means consuming content while sitting down, but your mind may still be processing words, images, stories, arguments, and emotional cues. The body has stopped moving, yet attention has not stopped receiving. Japanese culture often places importance on seijaku, a sense of stillness or tranquility. This does not require a temple, a meditation cushion, or complete silence. The useful principle is deliberate reduction. You allow less to enter. That can feel strange because silence makes internal noise easier to hear. You remember what you regret. You notice tension in your jaw. You realize you are worried. This is why people often avoid stillness. Stimulation is easier than contact with your own mind, but sleep eventually requires that contact. If you do not allow thoughts to slow while you are awake, they may arrive after the lights go out. Set aside 10 minutes after the phone has been placed away and the room has been prepared. Sit somewhere comfortable but not in bed if possible. A chair, the edge of a sofa, or a cushion against the wall is enough. You have several options. You can breathe slowly without forcing a complicated technique. You can stretch your shoulders, calves, and back with gentle movements. You can drink a small amount of non-caffeinated tea if that does not cause you to wake for the bathroom. You can read a few pages of a calm physical book, or you can simply sit. The rule is that the activity should not produce a new problem. Do not use this time to plan a renovation, analyze your relationship, or make a major financial decision. Do not choose a gripping thriller that makes you read until 2 in the morning. Do not turn gentle stretching into an intense workout. The purpose is downshifting. One practical method is the longer exhale pattern. Breathe in comfortably through the nose, then breathe out a little more slowly than you breathed in. Do not hold your breath if that feels unpleasant. Repeat without chasing a perfect count. A slower exhale may help encourage a more settled state for some people because breathing and arousal influence each other. But this is not a cure for insomnia or anxiety. It is simply a low-risk way to reduce physical urgency. If focusing on breathing makes you more anxious, choose another anchor. Listen to the quietest sound in the room. Feel the weight of your hands. Read one page. Fold one small towel slowly. The practice should fit your nervous system, not force it. There is also an emotional lesson here. Stillness is not the absence of life. It is the moment when life stops demanding a response. Let that idea land. For 10 minutes, nothing is asking you to perform, explain, improve, buy, reply, or impress. You are not trying to achieve perfect peace. You are practicing the end of participation. The shift is not I must make myself sleep. It is, I am no longer feeding wakefulness. But even a calm evening can fail if the timing changes wildly from one night to the next. That brings us to the final habit, the one that turns separate actions into a recognizable signal. Number 7, keep the order more consistent than the clock. People often hear that they need to go to bed at exactly the same time every night. Regular timing can support sleep, but real life is not always that clean. A family dinner runs late. Work ends at a different hour. You attend an event. You care for someone. You travel. Then the routine breaks, and you think, there is no point tonight. I already missed the proper time. This all or nothing thinking destroys more routines than imperfect timing ever will. The Japanese idea of kaizen is often translated as continuous or gradual improvement. It focuses on small, repeatable changes rather than dramatic transformation. Applied to sleep, kaizen means you do not need a flawless evening. You need a sequence simple enough to repeat. Your body learns patterns, not only times, patterns. Close the day, warm the body, lower the light, park the phone, prepare the room, enter stillness, go to bed. Some nights this sequence may begin at 9, other nights it may begin at 11. A more consistent bedtime may still be helpful, especially if your wake time is stable, but when timing cannot be perfect, protect the order. This matters because routines reduce negotiation. Without a routine, every night becomes a series of fresh decisions. Should I shower now? Should I watch another episode? Where is my charger? What should I wear tomorrow? Did I lock the door? Should I answer that message? Decision after decision keeps the mind active. A sequence answers those questions in advance. The bath follows the closing round. The lower lights follow the bath. The phone goes to its place. The room is cleared. The quiet period begins. Bed comes last. You only need to change the order. Start by choosing a minimum version for difficult nights. Your minimum routine might be this. Write tomorrow's first task. Wash your face or take a brief warm shower. Turn off the overhead light. Place the phone across the room. Clear the nightstand. Take 5 slow breaths. Go to bed. That may take less than 15 minutes. On easier nights, you can use the full version. On exhausting nights, use the minimum version. The routine survives because it can shrink without disappearing. This is where many people make a mistake. They create an evening routine so elaborate that it becomes another performance. 30 minutes of journaling, a special drink, a long skincare ritual, a complicated meditation, a perfect bedroom temperature, a specific playlist, a sequence of supplements. Then one busy evening arrives, the routine becomes impossible, and the entire system is abandoned. A useful night routine should remove effort, not become a new source of it. The Japanese-inspired lesson is restraint. Keep only the steps that genuinely help create closure, warmth, lower stimulation, and consistency. And pay attention to the result, realistically. Do not judge the routine after one night by asking, did I fall asleep instantly? Instead, after 1 week, ask better questions. Did I spend less time scrolling in bed? Did my bedroom feel less chaotic? Did I feel less rushed when the light went out? Did I wake with fewer unfinished tasks surrounding me? Was it easier to repeat the routine on the 5th night than on the 1st? Those are meaningful signs that the system is reducing friction, even if your sleep is not yet perfect. Persistent sleep problems can have many causes, including pain, breathing problems, medication effects, menopause, anxiety, depression, restless legs, irregular work schedules, or sleep disorders. If you regularly struggle to sleep, wake gasping, experience severe daytime sleepiness, or notice a major change in your sleep, a qualified healthcare professional should be involved. A routine can support sleep. It cannot diagnose the reason sleep is difficult. Now let us turn these 7 habits into one simple system you can use tonight. Call it the 3-stage night reset. Stage 1 is close. About 1 hour before bed, stop adding new tasks. Write down tomorrow's first action. Walk through your main living space for 5 minutes and return the most obvious items to order. You are telling the mind nothing important needs to be carried in memory tonight. Stage 2 is soften. Warm the body with a bath, shower, or a foot soak. Lower the lights, put on comfortable sleepwear, move the phone to its designated sleeping place. You are telling the body the environment is changing. Activity is decreasing. Stage 3 is clear, Prepare tomorrow's clothes, remove stray items from the bedroom, clear one surface, sit in stillness for 5 to 10 minutes, then enter bed only when the active part of the routine is complete. You are telling the room, this space has one main purpose now. Close, soften, clear. That is the entire framework. Do not attempt all 7 habits perfectly tonight. Choose one action from each stage. For close, write one line about tomorrow. For soften, lower one light and move the phone. For clear, empty the chair or nightstand beside your bed. Then repeat the same order tomorrow. Over the coming week, add only what feels sustainable. On the first night, notice what resists you. Maybe you keep reaching for the phone. Maybe the room contains more unfinished tasks than you realized. Maybe silence feels uncomfortable. Maybe your evening has no clear ending because work has spread into every room. Do not treat that discovery as failure. The routine is revealing where the friction lives. On the second and third nights, make the boundary clearer. Set the low light time. Choose the phone's permanent location. Keep a pen and paper ready. On the fourth and fifth nights, simplify. Remove any step that feels theatrical or unnecessary. Keep the sequence calm enough that you can follow it when you are tired. By the seventh night, ask whether your evening now has a recognizable shape. That is the real goal. Deeper sleep is not always created by one dramatic trick. It is often supported by a series of ordinary signals that stop contradicting one another. The light becomes softer. The body becomes warmer, then cooler. The phone stops delivering novelty. The room stops presenting unfinished decisions. The mind is allowed to become quiet before it is asked to become unconscious. The useful lesson is not that Japanese people possess a secret formula for sleep. It is that many Japanese household practices recognize the power of transition, boundaries, preparation, and repetition. Modern life often treats sleep like a switch. The Japanese-inspired approach treats it like a path. One system demands that you stop instantly. The other helps you arrive gradually. Tonight, do not begin by buying anything. Do not search for the perfect pillow, the perfect supplement, or the perfect app. Choose a place for your phone. Clear one surface beside your bed. Write down tomorrow's first task. Then lower the light. Which of the 7 habits would make the biggest difference in your evening? Closing the day, warming the body, lowering the lights, moving the phone, preparing the room, creating stillness, or protecting the order? Tell me the number in the comments. If this video helped you see your evening differently, like it and subscribe to the Japanese Reset for more practical Japanese ideas that make daily life calmer and more intentional. Share this with someone who feels exhausted every night but still cannot seem to switch off. Sleep does not always begin when you close your eyes. Sometimes it begins with the first small signal that the day is finally allowed to end.